Hey everybody, welcome back to my Eurovision React review channel. Today was day 3, we are continuing with our first rehearsals. So today was quite interesting for me as I attempted to go back to work online today and my internet cuts out, which is great. So I've been wholly reliant on my phone's hotspot, which hasn't been great. I've been told that I can test on Wednesday to see if I'm COVID free. Someone's dropped around a load of home tests because I've been told in Italy if I take the test too early and I'm positive, I'll have to quarantine for another 7 days, which then rules me out of going to Turin on Tuesday for semi-final 1. Anyway, that's just life, right? Okay, so what's happened today? So like I said, I've been at work, online doing stuff. So in breaks and stuff, I've been managed to kind of catch up things with my online press pass. Highlights of today, interviewing Marino, managed to do that early this morning, which was great, from Portugal. That was my first online interview, never done one before, and yes, I was nervous. And did I tell her at the beginning I was nervous? No, I just said, don't have internet, I have hotspot, if it cuts out, just bear with me. And she's like, okay, you weirdo. No, she wasn't like that, she was lovely. So tick, and hopefully I have two more interviews over the next 2 days with 2 other acts, which I'm really looking forward to. Okay, so I will talk about some of the meet and greets that I was able to see today in and around work, because there were some really interesting ones today. What do we have today? Okay, so let's just go through what we saw today on TikTok. So again, even though I've got an online press pass, I'm still only seeing what you guys see. It's only till we get to second rehearsals will I then actually have an opportunity of seeing the full shows. But again, I'll be back at work, so I don't know how likely that's going to be. Okay, so we started off with Finland. They're sticking with the yellow and black theme that they had in UMK. Lauro still showing off that chest, which some fans are going to love. They've got the addition of these balloons on stage, which I think looks quite effective. They've got smoke, and there doesn't seem to be any evidence of LEDs behind them. It's going to be a good show opener, right? I think we're all very excited to see the Rasmus opening up semi-final 2. Yeah, I'm just doing a running commentary what I saw, but we all saw the same thing. Israel, let me talk about Israel. So Michael, if you have an opportunity to see his meet and greet today, they must be releasing those interviews online somewhere, right? Check it out. Like, I've been watching them. I think there's 4 or 3 different people leading the interviews. And today with Mikkel was Mario. And I feel sometimes Mario, he's really nice, he's really personable, but sometimes he can be a bit stiff. But I'm kind of realising now it's kind of the energy, I guess, he's getting from the other person. Because today, Mikkel just came on stage and he was just high energy. I think my favourite line was when Mikkel said to Mario, tell everyone about your tattoo. Tell everyone about your tattoo on your chest or your lower stomach. And Mario jokes like, oh, how did you know that? And Michael was like, because I saw it last night. Mario dealt with it really, really well, actually. There was a lot of banter on stage and a lot of flirting. But like, Mario had to work for that interview. He looked quite exhausted. Quite exhausted at the end of it. So let's just talk about Mikkel. I'm so glad he's here. Like, we saw what happened last year with Australia. Not being there puts you at a huge disadvantage. He's there, he's living his dream. Sorry, I'm so sorry. There looks like it's going to start off with a box effect. There looks like there's a prop on stage. You get a glimpse of it very, very quickly. Vocally on point. I mean, we know that anyway, right? He's just won a singing contest, the X Factor, with some other phenomenal contestants who could sing. And at the end of his video, he says, "Shamazing," which is a great phrase. And then he says, don't worry, I'm out of breath. Yeah, they've got to run through these performances 3 times, right? And it looks like he's giving high energy with that choreo on stage. But we've seen that he can deliver high energy choreo and deliver a decent vocal. I liked what I saw, and yeah, if you have an opportunity to check out that interview, it's the best interview that I've seen so far. And moreover, I've said in my vlogs before, you can ask questions on the right hand side. I'm now starting to feel a bit, I can't really ask them. I don't really have the confidence because everyone else is like, you know, Tim from blah, 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 blah.com. I didn't realise people were doing that until today. I've just been like, Shane from Milan. And then Alicia Michelle said, Alicia Michelle from blah, blah, blah. And I was going to ask a question to Emma from Malta. And I was like, well, I don't want to be like Shane from Shane's Eurovision review. It would just sound lame and I would be very embarrassed. So I think my one question that was read out for Ready will probably be my last. Oh yeah, that was the first time where basically the press just basically went off on a tangent. Basically everyone was just writing in where you're supposed to post questions like, this is amazing, like Mikhail is living his best life, like this is so entertaining. And actually we were just talking to each other in this kind of official thing, basically saying how much we loved that whole press conference. It was really fun. Watch it if you can. He's a top guy. Then we went to Serbia. It looks like they've kept with the same staging from the Serbian national final, which I'm so happy about because it is so unbelievably effective. From obviously, I haven't like watched lots of interviews and stuff with her, but obviously from the limited exposure I had of her and seeing her in the Serbian national final, she just seemed quite quiet, not an extrovert. But like what we saw from this TikTok video is she looks like she's really, really enjoying it. She even says at the beginning, I feel good, bless her. Yeah, the staging's the same as Serbia, which I'm liking. I didn't realise this until Terry, one of the subscribers who has his own YouTube channel, he was saying, I didn't think this. The issues with that sun in the background, right? Again, jury's still out about what on earth's happening with that, whether that will be fixed or whether it won't be. As a result of this sun that may or may not be working, the LED screen is affected because what then now happens is you have LED screens to the left of it and you have LED screens to the right of it, and then you've obviously got this semicircle. So I do feel those that are utilising the LED screens are affected by this because it doesn't look as great. And I could see with Serbia that they've got the hand clapping LED on either side, but I will say the end of that TikTok, you see the end of the song, like the last 5 seconds where it really builds, and you see these like beaming red lights that adds to the drama at the end of that song. Very exciting. I'm very excited for Serbia. This is for me a dark horse to win. Easy. And she looked very happy at the end of it. I think it's quite interesting when in the TikToks they pick up their responses at the end. They've done it a few times, particularly with Latvia. You can see obviously those that are happy with how it went, and she was obviously happy with how her first rehearsal went. Then we went on to Azerbaijan. I mean, at the beginning, what did we get from that when he did his vocal his sound recording thing they do. I mean, we know the dude can sing. He has a phenomenal voice. Yeah, this was the band of songs that were props. And I think I said in another previous comment that there's not much props this year. Well, there was props in abundance today. Here they've got steps, and he's with another male dancer, and they seem to be doing things on steps. And actually, the last time Azerbaijan did, what was his name? The guy in the box. Hold me, you can hold me. Oh, but there was another woman. I was going to say the last time Azerbaijan just had a male singer with a male dancer, they did very well. But then I think at the end of that, there was a female on stage. So that was a moot point, Shane. Shut up. Not much to say, really. Bless him. He says at the end, we just killed it. So I think vocally he's always going to kill it. And he said, pray for us. Bless him. Oh, it's Eid today as well, isn't it? Happy Eid for those that are celebrating it. And then it was Georgia. I mean, their outfits were what we've come to kind of expect now in regards to their individual kind of quirky, funky, off-piste outfits. It's a lot of colour going on that stage, which I kind of love. There's moments where there are just lights beaming from the back and they're just multicoloured. And then at another stage, it was very kind of much red and blue with images projected on the LED screens. They've taken images from the music video, that kind of clown face, and there's lips. It's very psychedelic. It's one of those songs where you think, I mean, I can't correspond to it. But if you were taking certain things that might make you feel happy or make your brain go somewhere else, you probably would want to maybe avoid this song, actually, to be honest, Shane. But then what do you know? Georgia didn't seem to be as affected by the sun, I will say, from what I could see, the malfunctioning of the sun, shall we say. And then we move on to Malta. I mean, again, at the sound check at the beginning, vocally on point. I would say, actually, in regards to all the artists this year at the preview shows, Emma stood out for me in regards to just consistently live, vocally, very, very strong. We've got the piano. I kind of thought we would have that. She looks beautiful. There's this kind of pyro glitter camp thing that happens at some point in that TikTok video, which I kind of loved. The choreography, it's interesting. So obviously she's going to start on the piano, which I thought she might, and then obviously she's going to come from the piano. Piano's elevated, isn't it? And then she's going to be joined by dancers. My only doubt, my only question mark is, you know, when you are thinking about staging, you must also think about your song and who's your target audience. And I don't really know, from what I've seen, kind of what Malta's going for in regards to its target audience. You know, her sitting down with the piano and then coming up with these kind of... At the end of the day, the staging looks young, it looks vibrant, which matches her personality from what I've seen in interviews. So I just don't know whether there might be a slight disconnect in regards to staging, in regards to, you know, who are you targeting here to pick up the phone for you? Only question mark, but she looked fantastic. She looks beautiful, and she sang on point. San Marino, I will say first and foremost, if you wanted a polar opposite of Mikkel's meet and greet, like I've only seen 2 meet and greets today. Actually, no, I saw 3. Shane, you saw Emma's. I saw Mikkel's, Emma's, and Achilles. Yeah, if you want a polar opposite of Mikkel's, but I was going to say, I'm quickly doing this because there's a small break before Sheldon's from Australia. I want to catch that in a second. Yeah, his interview. I've heard, like, his fans are really protective of him here. I don't really know much about him. I don't really know his backstory, but you wouldn't want to say anything negative against this man. He's got a really strong fan base here in Italy, and they're very passionate about backing him to the hilt. The only thing I would say, it was a bit silly really, because in the meet and greet, obviously the lady asking questions speaks Italian, so there were moments where she just would say it in English, and because he had a translator on stage translating in Italian, and there were moments where she was like, screw this, and she would say it in English, and then she would just quickly say it in Italian. It just sped the whole thing up. Bless him, like, he was saying everything that I wanted to hear, though, kind of what he stands for, this whole kind of like, be yourself, don't be ashamed to be yourself. Like, his whole persona and his kind of the message that he's trying to get across to the world, well, Italy and hopefully the world after this, through his music and through his imagery is fantastic, and I totally buy into it. It's not as obvious when he's answering the questions. He's just not really an extrovert person, and it was an interesting interview. I won't say anything more, like I said, because I don't know him, and I think what he stands for is amazing, but it was an interesting interview to watch. What he's wearing I love. Anything genderqueer aesthetically I'm totally down for. He's got this kind of black bodysuit where you can see the underwear underneath. Looks amazing. He doesn't care, and he says that, you know, he deliberately goes out there and does these things to make people realise, you know, we should be questioning certain things about kind of gender norms and stuff like that. And it was annoying because she asked a really poignant question about kind of social norms, and said, you know, when you go out there, like, is that your intention to like make people question social norms or something? And he answered back quite bluntly, it's not up to me to answer that question. I mean, that's very wise, I guess, but then after that, with other questions, he pretty much answered that question. Pyros, lights, I mean, visually it was a feast for the eyes from what I could see. And then there's that moment with the rodeo horse that he's got on stage. So yeah, I did the translation of the lyrics today. It's about a girl who wants to be a cowboy, I think. Or does the boy want to be a cowboy and she wants to be a stripper? I don't know. But nonetheless, visually what we're seeing is in tune with the meaning of the song. I think there's been a few people that said, like I have said before, that there is a market for this song, and he's singing it in his own backyard, yard. I know he's not from Turin, and I know in the stadium there'll be lots of people from different countries, but he's going to feed off playing on home turf, right? I think from what we've seen today, I think people who thought San Marino definitely weren't qualifying need to watch the TikTok thing today, because visually it's impressive. Then Sheldon from Australia, he starts off that TikTok video with a vocal, the sound check, vocally on point. He's got the mask, which I think generally everyone's kind of now accepting. Correct me if I'm wrong, but his outfit looked very similar to Israel calling, the kind of white outfit with the feathers. I might be wrong. I've seen that silhouette, that colour with him somewhere else. Looks amazing. There seems to be a similar vibe to what we saw in Australia, other than I didn't see the thing behind him, that wind thing, which I'm totally down for. I quite like the staging in Australia. There is a moment where actually the camera pans him and he turns and it looks like he's about to walk up the steps. Bless him, and at the end he does say no one should have to sing that song 3 times. You forget actually, don't you, that actually these rehearsals, they run through it 3 times, and yeah, that is a vocally challenging song. So hopefully he's looking after his voice, bless him. And then we end with Cyprus. I was really looking forward to seeing this because we have not seen her at any of the preview parties, so I had no idea what we were going to expect. She looked stunning. It seems like they're going for like an Aphrodite theme. The giveaway of that was obviously the shell, which is associated with Aphrodite, right? My Greek mythology is not necessarily on point. Who was Greece in 2012? I love that song. What was her name? I wanna dance like a maniac. That's the last time that I remember the shell being utilised. I don't know if you can remember all the way back to 2012. It was 2012, right? In Baku. Eleftheria? I don't know her name. Anyway, that was the last time that a shell was utilised. What I will say, by having this really large prop and basically images projected on it, you don't even look at the back. So I think, obviously, if it is true this sun is not working, I don't think the Cypriot delegation worried at all, because it seems all the focal point is at the front with this shell prompt. So I don't think they're affected at all. It looked good. It looked elegant, and I quite liked the fact that they were so obviously it's a Greek sounding song, right, in regards to its production, and they're tapping into what I could perceive to be Greek mythology. Someone's going to correct me there and say, Shane, you're talking absolute rubbish. But yes, that is a quick synopsis of me just telling you what's in the TikTok videos, which everyone can see. So anyway, I wanted to kind of say a bit more about my experience today, but things that you didn't know. Interviewed Mauro, that was awesome. I've lined up other interviews this week, which was awesome. The meet and greet from Israel literally gave me life. And the interview with San Marino was interesting. But like I said, that's not to diss Achille, because not because I'm scared of his fans, because like I said, they will protect him. It's just the fact that I love everything he stands for. So I don't want to be critical. So yeah, those are my thoughts of day 3. So tomorrow's day 4. Tomorrow is the last day of the first rehearsals, and then hopefully I'll start being able to log in if and when around work to see the second rehearsals. So yeah, let me know your thoughts of today, if you've been able to catch up with anything. I'm going to watch the Sheldon meet and greet now, and then Cyprus meet and greet, and then today's over. It looks like upstairs turning on the water, so that's what you're hearing. So yeah, if you're still watching and you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Do click the notification button so you're informed if and when I post videos. And yeah, until next time, stay safe.